Alade. You're very much welcome, ma. I'll now call upon the chief host of today's ceremony, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Kabir Adeyemo, for his opening remarks. A round of applause for the Vice Chancellor.
Let's appreciate the MC. Thank you. Our guest speaker today, Professor Olutayo Adeshino, is a professor of history of development and social and economic history for coming. He's a very busy scholar. You know, he's presently in Manchester, but because of the personal touch and personal contact we had with him, he has to come and deliver the lecture. Prof, on behalf of the Chairman of Council, the management, and the entire Lee City University community, we thank you for coming. This is not the first time Prof is coming to our campus. He is a friend of the house. So once again, Prof, thank you so much. Today we are going to benefit from his exposure and from his experience. The Registrar of Lee City University, our Immaculate Registrar, Dr. Mrs. Oyebola Ayeni. Let's appreciate her, please. The Deputy Vice Chancellor, Humanities and Social Sciences, who also double as the Dean, Professor of Development Economics, Professor Malara Campbell. Let's appreciate her. Distinguished professors in the house, let's appreciate them. The head of departments, all HOD, all directors, all staff, academic staff, colleagues, invited guests, the members of staff, esteemed participants, our esteemed students, let's appreciate them. The young shall grow, but the grace of God will be greater than us. It is with profound joy and great honor that I welcome you all to the 2025 faculty lecture organized by the Faculty of Management and Social Sciences, and this event continues to stand as one of the most cherished intellectual traditions of our university. As we all know that the Faculty of Management and Social Sciences is one of our areas of strength in this university, and the faculty has created a platform for critical dialogue, scholarly reflection, and the sharing of ideas that shape both our academic and social realities. And today, we are lucky today to have a distinguished and a global scholar, Professor Olutayo Adeshino. The theme today is food, culture, and community in a global age. This is both thought-provoking and timely. It will bring to the fore an aspect of human existence that's often taken for granted. We all know that food is not just as nourishment, but also social, cultural, and economic phenomenon that binds humanity together. And food is more than what we eat. It is a mirror of our history, our identity, our collective humanity, and it tells us the story who we are, where we come from, and how we relate to it. So we're happy today that we have somebody who is going to give us, a distinguished scholar, who is going to give us a very impactful lecture on this topic. And the Faculty of Management and Social Sciences, though this lecture has once demonstrated its commitment to intellectual inquiry that is relevant. I think about a week ago, the Professor Campbell just called me and he told me about this, and I told her, let's go ahead. At least our faculty, we should be leading. And to the glory of God, today, I think the lecture is taking place. I must therefore commend you. I must therefore commend your doggedness and your leadership skill and aptitude as the Dean of the Faculty and as the Deputy Vice Chancellor of this university for your visionary and leadership and consistent efforts in sustaining this annual tradition. As we all know that this faculty, the faculty initiative, continue to bridge the gap between the academic theory and the real world practice, ensuring that our research and teaching remain impactful in addressing contemporary challenge. Once again, I want to appreciate my sincere appreciation to my good friend, guest speaker, Professor Olutayo Adesina, for accepting our invitation to lead today's conversation. We are deeply honored by your presence. Your wealth of experience, scholarship, and insight we promise to enrich our understanding of this motivated team. We look forward with keen interest to hearing your reflection on how food serves as both a unifying and differentiating factor in today's interconnected world. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want us to please listen attentively so that I'll be able to gain a lot from these distinguished scholars. To our students, I encourage you to draw inspirations from today's lecture. Remember that learning extends beyond the classroom wall. Every idea discussed today is an opportunity for you to think critically about the world you live in and the one you help shape. Whether you study business, economics, sociology, political science, international relations, accounting, banking and finance, and other courses in the social dimension of food, and how to deepen your insight into global system and human interaction. As we listen to our distinguished guest speaker, let us approach today's lecture not just an academic exercise, but as a celebration of connection and understanding. In conclusion, I once again commend the faculty, the committee for this conference, for this lecture, for organizing this important event, and for continually upholding the value of scholarship, innovation, and social responsibility. Once again, I thank all the faculty members, all my colleagues, for the support you have been giving to the DVC and the faculty as a whole. I wish you a very successful public lecture, and I hereby declare the lecture open. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir. I would like to recognize the presence of the Dean of the Faculty of Arts, Professor Angela Robbins. You are very much welcome, ma. I would like to call on the Deputy Vice Chancellor and the Dean of the Faculty of Management and Social Sciences, Professor Omolara Campbell, for our remarks.
Thank you so much. Once again, you are welcome. Protocol duly observed. My Vice Chancellor, my Registrar, and our guest speaker, you are all welcome once again. The Vice Chancellor has said it all. I just have a short remark here, just to buttress all he has said while we wait for the loaded guest speaker. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the first faculty lecture in the 2026 academic session titled Food, Culture, and Community Augmented. Food remains universally powerful. It's more than sustenance. It's a language we all speak. Food serves as a powerful marker of identity and is very cohesion. The global age refers to the contemporary era characterized by a profound and unprecedented level of global interconnectedness and interdependence. It is more than just a description of events. Rather, it signifies a fundamental shift in how human societies, economies, and cultures operate, where local actions can have global consequences and vice versa. The global age is primarily a product of technological advancement, political and economic liberalizations of the late 20th and early 21st centuries. Food in the global age remains a crucial anchor for culture and community. In today's lecture, has both enriched and challenged the ancient relationship between food, culture, and community. I believe he will also expose how culinary traditions adapt or resist in the face of global markets and digital connectivity, how the food we eat shape our identity and connect us to others, from our local neighborhoods to communities across the globe. Our distinguished guest speaker, Professor Olutayo Adeshina, a prolific writer and a very, very seasoned intellectual, will delve into this fascinating and vital topic. Once again, I welcome you.
Thank you so much, Madam Deputy Vice Chancellor. I would now like to call upon Dr. Shoritiri, Dr. Oyemi Shoritiri, to give the citation of our guest lecturer of today. A round of applause for her. She comes.
I humbly request Professor Adeshina to please stand up. Olutayo Charles is a professor of history in the Department of History, University of Ibadan, Nigeria. He is the current British Academy Global Professor of History at the Department of History, School of Arts, Language and Culture, University of Manchester, United Kingdom. A distinguished fellow of the Nigeria Academy of Letters, FNAL, the apex organization of humanistic scholars in Nigeria. Adeshina's work was selected in 2024 as one of the 8 proposals for the 2023-2024 British Academy Global Professorship Award. This was for his research proposal entitled The Town and Gown Interface, Ibadan and the Decolonization of Social Knowledge in the 28th Century. The project offers an innovative study of the politics of knowledge production and epistemic foundation in colonial and post-colonial Africa. Professor Adeshina was a recipient College, Oxford University, United Kingdom, 2004-2005. Visiting Research Fellow, Center for Advanced Study, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, India, 2009. And Fellow, Leibniz Zentrum Moderna Orient, ZMO, Berlin, Germany, May to July 2023. National's public reign, Fair, Biohistory, Modern Journal of History 45, number June, Martins Gutman and Olutayo C. Adeshina, SDG 9, Historizing Production, Innovation, and Infrastructure from the Industrial Revolution to Contemporary African Strategies of Industrialization in Martins Gutman and Daniel Goma eds. Before the UN Sustainable Development Goals, a historical companion, Oxford University Press, 2022, pages 265 to 294. His most current publication is Adebayo AG and Adebayo OC eds, Critical and Contentious Issues in the Modern and Contemporary Histories of Nigeria. Collected writings of Samuel Olusegun Oshoba, Ile-Ife, Nigeria, Obafemi Awolowo University, Press, 2024. Professor Adeshina is married, and the marriage is blessed with adorable children. Scholars in the house, please, with rousing ovation, let's welcome Prof as he delivers his lecture.
The Vice Chancellor, Professor Kabiru Adeyemo, my distinguished Vice Chancellor and brother, the Registrar, Dr. Adebola Ayeni, and then my very own sister, Professor Omolara A. Campbell. Professor Angela Robbins, distinguished members and colleagues in the hall, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow students. It's my pleasure to be here today, and you won't be surprised when I tell you that it is good to be back home. Leeds City is my home, and anytime I am called upon to interact with my colleagues and students, I am always very happy to do so. We believe you are engaging one of the best intellectual traditions that we have in this country. So on that note, I congratulate you all for being citizens of this university. Well, I am here to engage food, culture, and community in a global age. And the question you ask is, these are strange bedfellows. But I can tell you that as a historian, everything is interconnected, everything. And that is why I have changed my own definition of what history is from the study of past events. I have a more convenient definition. And that definition is history is the totality of human experience. It's the totality of human experience. There is nothing you want to talk about or you want to engage that does not have its own dimensions within human relations, within consumption, within human engagement, and everything I've just talked about constitutes what history is all about. And so, if we are here today to talk about food and culture and community, you are going to see how our makeup as humans are reflected in all these items that I have enumerated. The question you ask again is, what is food? Is it not what we eat and then at the end of the day go about our normal duties? No. Food is beyond food. Food is spiritual. It is physiological. It is political. It is cultural. It is even diplomatic. Because when I come to your house and you give me food, it means I am welcome. But if I come to your house and you quickly pack up your food, the message is clear. I am not welcome. Because when I saw you covering your food, unless I am very brave, I said, don't cover it. Let us eat it together. So it can also serve as an avenue for people to be brazen, to say, look, I am hungry, and I have been praying that I should meet food. So the multidimensional nature of food speaks into culture, speaks into community, and it speaks into globalization. And so we are going to see all this in bold relief. How do you, as the younger generation, begin to engage matters of food? Well, I have done my protocol, and I have said it is my pleasure to be here today as a fellow Nigerian who is passionate about food, culture, community development, and the effects of globalization on our existence. A major question that I propose to address here is, how do all these singly or in combination define our health, our identity, our relationships, and our well-being? As humans, all these are very significant in our day-to-day relationships and existence. Food offers a unique opportunity to bring people together and broaden our understanding of the world. The Oyo State government has brought out a new tax regime. I don't know whether this is true or not, but it was on WhatsApp this morning. If you are going to bring all of us together to have a party, there is an amount you now have to pay as tax. So if I'm going to attend your graduations very soon, when I come, you have to show me your receipt that you have paid your tax. Because when they are packing everybody, I don't want to be packed along because the celebrant has not paid the tax for the ceremony. You know, but since the beginning of human civilization, we have always come together to celebrate. And one of the most significant things we use in celebration is food. So anything that is going to stop our celebration, may we not see it. And so the study explores the interface of food, culture, community, and globalization. So when you talk about culture, it is about what we are, who we are. How do we begin to understand the society in which we live in? And then, of course, community is all about our presence as humans, our relationships, how do we relate? And then globalization. Nowadays, the world is flat. The world is no longer round, it is flat. Everything that happens here happens there, we see it, we are able to internalize it. And that is why now today, what happens in the US, by tomorrow or by this evening, you know. Whatever they consume in the UK, by evening, you know. And so now, the world is flat. And so we copy things from different places, and that has changed the tone and context of community everywhere in the world. And so, it presents evidence that illustrates the nature, style, and patterns of consumption. Yes, food serves as a means of nourishment, but much more importantly, it helps individuals to engage with and better understand or misunderstand various cultures and communities. When we were growing up, we always assume, and I don't know why we assume so, but at some point we call our brothers from across the Niger, the Igbos, Ajokutamamumi. That is, people who eat stone without drinking water. Where that came from, we don't know. And in turn, they call us people who eat palm oil. Because they don't eat palm oil the way we Yorubas eat palm oil. So that became a major definition of the Yoruba to them. So you can see that food can be used to define anybody and also can be used to understand anybody. But that is not where we are going. Why is food significant? Why is it important to culture? Why is it important to society? Any society without food is in deep trouble. And we are going to be in trouble if we don't plant, if we don't cultivate crops. Merely by looking at your face as the Gen Z, I can pick people who have never been on the farm and who don't think they should plant anything in their life. And there's money to buy it. Is that not so? But in our generation, everybody had a backyard farm. We planted pepper, we planted tomato, we planted onion, we planted all manners of vegetables, okra. But it's a different generation. So if we continue with this trajectory that we are following now, our society may become a food-dependent society. And that is not what we look forward to. Don't let us become a food-dependent society. And so, different generations that coexist with within particular nation states do not necessarily understand or value each other. Now you don't understand my generation because you look at me and say, why did we need to cultivate? After all, you can go to the market and buy. But it was part of our culture for us to produce, to plant, and then with that you develop work ethic. But work ethic is no longer significant in this day and age. So the disparity in cultural ignoring of our long-established history and cultures has come to characterize the relationship between the young and the old. Well, Kemi Badenoch in Britain was telling Nigerians that she suffered so much because when she was in the federal government college, she was told to fetch water. And then I asked, did any of us die when we cut grass, when we fetched water? No. It was part of the work ethic that society was trying to inculcate in all of us. In those days, as primary school pupils, we swept our classrooms. We swept the precinct of the building. But things have changed. And so, in contemporary Nigeria, a civil society has now developed whose instincts struggle to reconcile traditional and modern institutions and arrangements. You don't want to see anything traditional because you are modern. And that is one of the problems that the society is going through now. If you are modern, you are modern. You don't want to be traditional. You are not modern. It's a contradiction because this is Africa. This is Nigeria. We must live as Nigerians, not as Oyibo Nigerians. And that is very significant. So conflicts now characterize the relationship between the old and the young, with these issues clearly reflected in food choices. And I'm going to get there. I asked my children when they were growing up that I have never seen any of you in this house eating yam and palm oil. How many of you have eaten yam and palm oil? Well, significant. With what? Yeah. Well, that's very good. Well, there are instances when food has come to define a community and even well, I don't know how this is going to work.
Welcome back.
Okay.
The conversation continues, and it is so exciting. This is a conversation between two village mates, the village girl and the village boy. I hope you're enjoying. If you are just joining us now, please go back to the previous episodes, and I can tell you, you are going to enjoy them. My name is Mary Wamai, and this is the Executive Table.
Different, like I said, I worked for about 3 months in Pakistan, but that was an assignment when I was in London. So other than that, I would say I've worked in Nairobi, in London, in Cyprus, Near East, that bit of Pakistan, and of course Lagos. Of all those places, my best posting was Lagos, by a mile, for a couple of reasons. One, I went there as a CEO, and a CEO is a big deal in Lagos, so you had all these facilities. It was considered a hardship posting, so you even have security. If you are going to the airport, you have this vehicle that does this, you know. So, yes, because GSK is a significant company there. And but that is not the point why it was my best posting. Why it was my best posting is because of Nigerians. Once you get to understand Nigerians, I think they are the best people on earth by far. And people have these different impressions about Nigeria. Just take time to understand them. First of all, I think the only place that Africa has been left, because all of us have been colonized, even mentally. The only place you find Africa is when you go to Lagos. You find Africa in the way they dress. You find Africa in the way they eat. You get Africa in the way they communicate. So I actually enjoyed interacting with them. And I made lots of good friends to this day. Plus, of course, the market is big. Nigeria is 200 plus million plus people. So within one geography, you have more people than East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. So you're able to do also a lot more. You do some initiatives and they spread and give you very good returns. So I much enjoyed Nigeria.
Wow.
Really enjoyed. Yeah, it was a very good posting. It was very good. The only thing is, after 3 years, I was faced with the decision of, do I renew for another 3 years? And we had agreed with my wife then that we leave the kids here. So we had left the kids and they were boarding here. So we would come over for half term for a week. They would come here on holiday and then go back. So we had said we'd do 3 years, and then we did not want to. We actually needed to come back to Kenya. But the business was good. The business was good. I really enjoyed that. I would hope that people can visit Nigeria more and really get to understand the people, because Nigeria is Africa. Kenya is not Africa. Kenya is like the Nigerian will say, Kenya is Oibo land. Oibo is a Muzungu. Yeah. Kenya is an Oibo land. Because I'll give you an example. I'll go to the local club. One of them was called Metropolitan. The other is called Ikoyi. And the Nigerian would tell me, Linus, come and let's eat. Let me show you our Nigerian food. And they would bring something they call eba, egusi vegetables, this, and wash your hands and eat. Then when they visit here, I would take them to Muthaiga Country Club.
Yes.
Because I also want to show that we have very good clubs. I was a member of Muthaiga Country Club then.
Yeah.
So I bring them. Then the Nigerian, and that is why we don't like those guys. He calls the waiter and says, "Me, I want Kenya food."
Where is Kenya food?
And then the guy in Muthaiga Country Club is here. Here we don't even serve
We
ugali.
don't have that here.
Then I'm looking at it and say, who is matter here?
Wow.
Between me and, until now you have to go and look for, what is it?
Kosewe.
You go to Kosewe and say, now you eat as
And
much as you
Mama
want.
Oriech.
But you see, you have to leave where you are to go and look for Kenya food.
Yeah.
You don't do that in Lagos. I don't care whether you're in Hilton or in Sheraton.
That's what it's
70% of the food in any buffet is Nigerian. because that's what they eat and they're proud of it.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed working.
Wow, great. Now, let's shift to the media. How did that happen after the pharmaceuticals?
Let's look at another perspective.
The media, like I said, it happened on my way back in Congo Forest, 30,000 feet.
Let's look at this perspective, which is perspective 2, in which
Welcome back.
The use of food has also been weaponized to the level where they don't actually welcome you so much.
Okay. Pieces?
Give me one piece.
You want another one?
Put it.
It's very yummy.
It's yummy. Okay.
Yeah.
You have wings.
Wings, I've got wings, yes.
Oh yeah, give me wings too.
Okay. Are you
That's
happy
it. No,
with
no, that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Are you guys paying together? No, I'll just have this.
Sorry.
Okay. You guys paying together
Pay what?
for the food? How are you paying today?
You pay in wedding in the UK.
Yes, you have to pay. She's got tomato.
Tomato is from the garden, so it's complimentary on the house.
That's fine, but
That's
you need to
73
pay.
pounds.
I know now. Maybe in Nigeria we don't pay for wedding. What is?
73 pounds.
Oh, so I'm actually vegetarian.
That's fine.
So you give me chicken. I can't eat chicken now. I'm vegetarian.
But why didn't you say it from
I didn't see it. I thought it was tomatoes. Wait, you actually pay for
everybody has paid, everybody.
No way.
So what
I'm
am I going to do
vegetarian.
with this?
See two perspectives about food.
Okay, how many pieces?
The one who came to Nigeria and they invite, come and eat. Because that is our nature. It defines us as a people. We take care of people with food. But elsewhere, how could you go for a wedding? And they say, what you have taken is actually 10 pounds or 20 pounds or so. What he ordered for was actually 72 pounds. 73 pounds. Here we don't do that. The day we are invited for a wedding and they tell you to pay, that day you know that society is dead. It's dead. But may we never get to that sorry path. So we learned a long time ago that you are what you eat. It's the food that defines us. It has long been recognized that as societies modernize, they experience significant changes in food types, styles, and patterns of consumption. Nowadays, who eats together at family tables any longer? Who has continued to eat at family tables? You take, well, one, we no longer do it. You carry your food and make your way either to your room or to where you are playing with your phone. You know, so that sense of community is gone, and is gone with the food, because we no longer eat together at the common table. In times past, it was at the table that parents correct their children. You know, their etiquette. Have you ever seen some people, after eating, the way they pick their teeth? And you become embarrassed to say, didn't they teach you when you were small that this is not acceptable? You know, or in some cases, when you are eating and you get meat, and your hand goes there, but your parents knew what you were able to do, they also look at you, and then as your hand comes, a spoon lands on your hand. These are little things that trained us the way to go. So, eating loudly and carelessly were things they corrected. But now nobody corrects that any longer. Of course, consuming large morsels of food. If you are eating eba or pounded yam and your eyes become extended, know that what you are doing is not right, because what you have taken is too large. And so you have to open your eyes wide to swallow it. That is not right. So these are the little things. So it was from the patterns of consumption that the term wobia lele now, And so if you bring somebody home that this is the person you want to marry, and then he or she takes large chunk of food, open his or her eyes, they say, we'll be alele now. You know? So another terms for lack of discipline in consumption developed. Of course, the concept of FFO, I don't know what your generation uses, and human dignity. In Yoruba culture, there are those described as Jankoku, and pejoratively are called FFO, for food only. Human society has for centuries identified food and its overt consumption as one of the negative markers of humans. It is part of the culture of Epicureans. You know the philosophy of Epicureanism? Let us eat and drink today, for tomorrow we die. Don't bother about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. So these are the little things that society has taught us with the aid of food. And so they exhibit behaviors that are different from conventional self-regulatory models. That's how society runs. That's how society becomes stable. Self-regulatory models. But these models were developed by our parents, and they ensure that most times when you are inside a home, and most especially when you are at the table, you are corrected. But nowadays, who correct anybody? And you are now shouting that society has plenty parents. They are not there. Those of us who went through this wanted to correct others outside. They say, what's your own? In Rwanda, what's your own business with that? The way I eat, you know? These are things. Well, in history, we used to teach about the Jaga and Mbangala. They are a warrior tribe in Angola. If you cook food, if you have wine, and they hear that you are in trouble. Because they will come. You know, so it has defined them as a marauding group constantly looking for wine and food. So you see how food can become a marker, a definition of people anywhere in the world. And of course, remembering and forgetting, out of date but still important. Yes, it's a new age. Once upon a time, we used to tell stories to our children to make them wise and responsible. You know, but internet leading everyone to forget important information as digital amnesia takes hold. Now you learn from the internet. So the real things of the real life, we no longer know. So we have abdicated the training of our children to the internet and global television. You know, so most people can no longer remember their children's schools or where they are. Well, some of us can still remember our family's phone numbers between the ages of 10 and 15. I could remember even as young as 6. The forgetting has been accentuated now for all of us. It is a consequence of people never needing to remember because the information is accessible on our phones. Now, there is amnesia because if you want to look at anything, you just look at the internet. You don't even want to talk to people again. You know, and so that communitarian experience is no longer there. You know, so people no longer talk to people. So what do we remember about our children? Who is mentoring our children? But of course, that takes us to the lost foods of Africa. We now consume more foreign foods than local. How many of you have consumed cocoyam, winged termites, and other protein-rich grubs? For us, many of these insects were consumed as foods. The present generation will likely puke if they are offered this. Some of you have never eaten winged termite. How many of you have eaten a sunsun before? You know, only 5 of you in a population of. So if you have not eaten winged termites before, have you eaten palm weevil larva? That is the one you get from palm tree and other trees. You know? Okay. Food in the global age. Well, globalization, technological advancement in food processing, and internationalization of markets are the key factors that influence changes in food culture and consumption. This was a transition that also influences the pattern and forms of food consumed across different groups. A reflection on the major change in food times consumed across social classes. Social classes eat different foods. While you take custard, I will take ogi. Some of you have never taken ogi in your life. You know? The findings from different studies indicate that a high percentage of households preferred imported food to local food because the imported foods are higher in quality. Is that true? Because they taste better. Is that true? And because they are easy to prepare, ready to eat. You know, the Indomie generation has surfaced from this practice. Just merely looking at your faces, I know you are Indomie generation. Well, food and production system. The global age is now focused on food and nutrition security based on a totally different production pattern. You know, everything you need are found in supermarkets and eateries. These have now changed local and traditional consumption patterns and production systems. Genetically modified foods have now swarmed our markets in a bid to provide bigger and faster growing food and meat. GMO foods, they are everywhere. This has resulted in the adoption of GMO crops and seeds. Now try to plant a pawpaw from a previous tree. You will discover that, yes, it will grow, but it won't give you any fruit. That is where GMO is leading us. It's because there is a company, or there are companies, such as Monsanto, that now sell seeds. In fact, they don't want you to reproduce the old seeds. They want you to buy new seeds every year you want to plant anything. So gradually we are moving towards that food-dependent culture that I talked about. And so, although some public concerns exist in the consumption of GMOs, the World Health Organization and other bodies have found no evidence of harms. Even then, local crops are giving way to GMO foods. Hardly will you find local chicken and local eggs anymore. So, in several cases, don't do anything wrong that will have adverse consequences for you, that will take you to the Babalawo. Don't ever do it. Because the Babalawo will tell you to go and bring the chicken of, the egg of local chicken. You can't find it, though. So you have to be very careful. Everything you do, be careful that nothing takes you to the traditional people. Well, potential long-term effects of GMOs are still a serious cause for concern. Nobody knows yet the long-term effects. Then, of course, in our desire to breed fat cows, there was a time they were mixing fodder for cows with baby placenta. Because if you feed them with baby placenta, they become huge. But of course, that was not designed by nature for them. And so that was when they began to develop the mad cow disease. So you can read up on the mad cow disease. So you can also read up on GMO foods and how these affect human well-being. Well, the food table and mutual understanding, the dinner table, like I've said, was essential to the building of family and human values. and a shared and sustainable future. It was a veritable platform for practical training, serves as a bridge of knowledge and bonding, and it fosters mutual understanding and joint action, and it shapes character. All through food. So food is beyond food. It's beyond nourishment. It is responsible for the shaping of character. I'm gradually coming to the conclusion. Well, nowadays we have food apps, grocery delivery, and cultural disconnection. Gradually, we are all disconnecting from society. There are women who go to the market with 3 Congos of rice to sell. It is not the money. It's the community experience. You know, women like discussing. I don't want to use the word gossiping because you will accuse me of, of sexist things. But they like to go to the market. And so what's going to happen to our women if they don't go to the market to buy things or to sell things? Society is dying, community is dying. And so if they have 5 Congo of rice and you come with your money and you say you want to buy all the 5 Congo from our house, she says no. You can only buy 2 because she's going to take 3 to the market. You then ask yourself, what is the logic? Is it not the money you want? They say no. It is that community experience. Nowadays, you don't even go into the banking halls any longer because you just stay at the ATM, take your money, and go your way. Even the person queuing behind you, you don't say good morning. You know, community is dying, society is dying gradually. And then, of course, the order and delivery of groceries and market items are also done online. This has now distanced the consumer from the producer and other humans. Although it has provided jobs and convenience, the app has now sufficiently replaced parents and other humans from having a choice in what their children consume. Only God knows the kind of things you are consuming nowadays. You know? And so are we also surprised that husbands and wives, sorry for the spelling of the wives, are now procured online? Welcome to the internet age and the death of community. So dating and marriage in the past, culturally arranged marriage was the order of the day. Later, society moved to the idea of young people meeting and dating without the knowledge and approval of their families. Today, it is the internet who serves as parents. Young people now meet via Facebook and other technologies and confront their families with a fait accompli. There are studies that show that part of the problems leading to the high rate of divorce has resulted from lack of cultural understanding. You know? Well, I'm not going to play this, but it's a lady complaining about how parents treat them and ignore them. But basically what they are trying to say is that, more or less, the family is dead. It's dead. Well, conclusion. The development of soft skills, and this is where the role of the university is important. The development of soft skills and human capital has been identified as sine qua non for human progress. Our youths must constantly be taken through communication skills. And communication skill does not mean speaking English alone. Your body language is really very important. And critical exercises on critical thinking. People find it difficult to engage in critical thinking nowadays. And then you look at them and say, well, you said you are an undergraduate. You said you have graduated from the university, you know. And so, critical thinking and problem-solving approaches. As university students, how much of problem-solving approaches have you undertaken? These are very significant things that we must take our children back to. We cannot afford to abdicate our responsibilities to machines. We should now deploy our knowledge and experiences to create innovative ideas and solutions to the problems assailing our society in a global age. Our universities must now prioritize community development. And when we talk about community development, we must also push them towards volunteering. How many of you have volunteered before outside the campus? Volunteering. It's something that we must now develop. Volunteering is part of that need to imbue in you that sense of responsibility. We must train you in ways to have a sense of mission, a sense of direction. But if you don't volunteer, you think everything is about book, then of course society is missing it. Our universities must now prioritize community development through research and knowledge production for present and future generation. Knowledge production is not about your teachers teaching you alone. It is also about you going into the community, offering services, helping people. In fact, even if it means that after your studies in the evening or during weekends, you do certain things to help the community. There has to be a meeting point and a meeting of minds that will help in the recreation and advancement of society. We should now put together groups and think tanks who will quietly serve as brains to direct development and progress. The duty of such structures is to work quietly on human-centered entrepreneurship projects, identifying areas of opportunity, and creating pathways for our young people to take advantage of such opportunities. But if such opportunities don't exist, we cannot blame the youth for going wrong. Thank you for your attention.
Please, another round of applause for our professor. Thank you so much. And so, as a criminologist, I cast my mind back, and we think about punishments, and now I know why my mother will offer a fully grown Oyo man semo. And so semo was like a punishment for us, and we went to her and asked her, how have we offended you, mommy, when we saw semo on our plates? And so thank you so much, Professor, for your understanding and for your scholarship and helping us very much to understand food and its culture. We'll now entertain just one question because of our time. We will entertain one question. One question, if you have a question for the professor on the topic that has been delivered today. In the absence of none, I would like to call on the registrar, Lee Titi University, Dr. Oyebola Ayeni, to present the gift to our guest lecturer.
So, Prof. Sir, I present this to you on behalf of the entire the faculty and the students of Leeds City University. This is a very insightful lecture. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. I would like to welcome and recognize the presence of some of our dignitaries that walked in during the course of the lecture. We have the Vice Chancellor of Protestant University in Rwanda. We have Professor Olu Ojedokun. You are very much welcome, sir. We have the Dean, Faculty of Environmental Design and Management, Dr. Igu Fayomi. You are very much welcome, ma. We also have amongst us Professor Adeboye, Dean, Faculty of Information and Communication Science. You are very much welcome, sir. Who is the Deputy Registrar, Corporate Communications, and much welcome, sir. And so we still have time for questions. Professor, as the have questions that are bothering our mind. Yes, Professor.
Thank you, Prof, for the very insightful lecture. What you said is what is really happening. Now, if you go to the Ibadan interior, there is no house with a fence. But now, even if you build a room, you will build a fence. No more communal life. Yes, in the past, you go to your friend's house, you eat there, you go and visit your relatives. But now, to your tent, O Israel, where are we going? What is the role of NOA, National Orientation Agency? So how can we move? Because if we lose our culture, we are losing our future. That is just it. That is just it. So what role can the media, what role can NOA, what role can the religious organization play in reviving our culture? Thank you.
Thank you. My own question is so different. I want to ask Professor, why is it that in the olden days, the food they ate then kept them old? Now, the reverse is the case. What is happening? And we are even confused. Some will say don't eat palm oil. But in those olden days, I remember my grandmom, palm oil, very smart mommy like this. I will be following her. She was always taking care of us because my parents were career people. What is happening, Prof?
Okay, thank you for your questions and comments. Well, because of lack of time, that's why I was not able to explain this very well. But the role of NOA, National Orientation Agency, or the press, or religious organizations, those who populate these agencies also try as much as possible to run after society. It's like the saying of one of the British prime ministers, I think Benjamin Disraeli, who said, each time I find a solution to the Irish question, they change the question. The same thing with society. The moment you try to understand society or our children, they change direction. There is a flux. Society is in a flux. This moment they are listening to this kind of song, and then as the parent you also try to listen and then of course maybe sing along, And then the following year, you sing the song, they say, daddy, that one is gone. So we are all trying to keep up with your desires, with your aspirations, and that is where we are getting it wrong. In the past, it was the parents who used to correct the children. Now it is the children who correct the parents. And so we try to make them happy by pandering to their wishes, which is not the intent to do. So if you put a structure like the NOA in place to mobilize society, to tell them about tradition and culture, they won't listen, because as far as they are concerned, that is your tradition and culture, not their own tradition and culture. Oh, I am Catholic, and yes, I fraternize with the Redeemed Church, but every time I go back to the Catholic Church, I discover that things have changed, because they also want to be trendy like Pentecostal churches. And then I listen to the song, I say, this song, that's not the way we used to sing it. They say, they are trying to attract the Gen Z. So, even the church is in trouble. It's in trouble. So these are the kind of things we are engaging, and society will have to make up its mind. What do you want? What do we want? In which direction do we want society to move? But today you are a bat, tomorrow you are a rat. So what is it? What are you? And that is why we have said our universities have a role to play in the recalibrating of society. The university system itself is in trouble. We knew what we saw as undergraduates. We knew what we had as young lecturers. What we have now, even me, I don't understand. So the university system will have to help us out subsequently in this thing. But before we can help you out, we also have to understand what we also propose to do. Because the reasons that we come into this job have become diluted. People tell you, well, I'm still managing with lecturing. I've not found a job. Is that what lecturing job has become? So that immediately you get a job in the oil industry or in a bank, you abandon teaching. But some of us came in because we had passion for this job. If you don't have passion for teaching, please don't go into it. Because you will not only ruin your own life, you will ruin many lives. You've got to have passion for it. Yes, we are not being paid very well, but there is a way in which, let me confess to you. In life, I wanted to be a farmer. And my parents insisted I must go to school, so they forced me to school, and I was able to articulate the reason why I wanted to be a farmer much later. For those of you who have never been to the farm, when you plant and it starts germinating, it's growing, and you see the beauty of nature, you stay on the farm and see the beauty of these things that you have planted. But when I was forced to school and I became a teacher, I made up my mind that my students are my plants. I see the way they germinate, the way they grow. I nurture them. They become significant people in society. So I then settle down into teaching. But as you see me, I am a farmer who missed his vocation. So the second question is, why is it that in the olden days, our parents grow old and strong and have clear eyes? You know, they were not using glasses, they could see things. It's because they were eating food, crops that are natural. Well, I've been married for some time now. I have not eaten what you call a gbonyi. That is when we go to the backyard, take ripe palm nuts, and you boil it. You extract the thing that they are going to use for the afternoon soup that day. And then my mother will send me to the farm to go and bring what we call a munukoko, that cocoyam. That is the soft inner leaf of cocoyam. It's very sweet. You know, and so we saw all these things going away, and then your competition becomes, which one do you use? Is it Maggi 3-star or no, or Ajinomoto? And you are killing all of us, small. You know? So these are the little things that have changed not only our taste buds, but also the composition of our bodies. And so when you die at the ripe age of 50, yes, that is it. Oh. To die at 50 now is ripe. It is. In fact, you are very lucky. You know, but in those days, when you are 80, they will still beg you with a damsel of 18 to say, Baba, you can't be alone. And you discover that Baba of 80 will still have some 4 children before he dies. You know, it's because of the vitality, the freshness of what they are consuming. So if you eat fresh cocoyam, you eat fresh vegetable, why won't you look for a fresh girl? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. I would like to call on the head of department, Management and Accounting, Associate Professor Tina Akimbo, for the vote of thanks. A round of applause for her.
We want to say a very big thank you to our lecturer for today, Professor Olutayo Adesina. Thank you so much, sir. We assure you that we're going to have a rethink and we'll begin to do the organic things. We want to thank especially our faculty leader, the DVC, and Dean, Faculty of Management and Social Sciences, for her doggedness in organizing this annual lecture. And special thanks to the organizing committee, all the professors in the department, all the heads of departments, the students. We'll say a big thank you to university management for their support always. Thank you all. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Ma. And with that, we've come to the end of this faculty lecture. Shall we rise for the university anthem?
University, the cradle of great leaders, where hopes and dreams are given life and strive for great attainment with motivation
National anthem.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hang on to our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
Thank you for coming, and may God bless us.
Get one free.
Cleverly on the beat.
Spending money plenty. Manage my funds. All I really wanna do is manage my funds.
Cleverly on the beat.